Printer sounds good. Okay. So let's start with group 2. So our group 2 is, okay, how you say that? Say it wrong. Logan, Jonathan, Joshua. What have we got at this group? We lost one and added some.
Okay, so for my beginning, I have a check variable and an answer variable, and then I have a default value, and then some just basic variables to go into the for loop. And then I have a check system that checks to see if the triangle that you're trying to make is a number that's greater than 1, or if it's a number at all. So it will check with the try parse, and it will answer with true, or it will answer with false, and then it will check the value. And if that value is less than 1 or equals to 1, then it comes back as false, and it goes back through and checks again. And then I have a for loop that goes through. It increments the I, and then it goes into another for loop that increments the up triangle and creates an asterisk for each time. And then it creates a space in between each. And then I have another for loop that does the downside of it, so that it minuses the I, and then it goes to the down triangle and starts at the top and goes down. And then it does the reverse of that for this one. And then if I did correctly, okay, maybe I didn't do that correctly. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. There it is. So I can insert a value, say like 20. I'll go through and create the triangle. I think the biggest issue I had with it was like starting it.
It's beautiful code, and I know you guys have had a lot to worry about. I mentioned it at A class. I know I gave you a lot of stress. Making you do TFS with the unit exam type thing and stuff. What? Well, that's because I need you putting your stuff in TFS. And if I do it for a unit exam, you're going to figure out how to get it done. And if I do it for a regular assignment, there's unfortunately a whole bunch of people that won't worry about it. and then they won't worry about it for the next assignment, and then it'll be a unit exam, and they'll be behind and still freaking out about it. So that's why we're doing it this way. Also, whenever you're at work, when you have any sort of package or product go live, there's always a whole bunch of rigmarole to be done. You know, moving things to different servers, setting up files, all that kind of stuff. And so with TFS and all of these things that I make you guys do to go through getting something turned in, that is totally rigmarole, right? It's just like overhead, just like what you'll have at work. Because I want you to get used to the fact that you're going to have all of these additional tasks to get done. It's not just a matter of changing that program. Because it can be really disheartening when you get to work and you find out you have all this extra stuff. If you're used to it, you're just like, yeah, no problem. Now, I'm going to pick on him because he's up here and I know he won't mind. This program looks great. It works really well. It looks like in testing it works really well. So what am I going to count off on? 5 big old points right off the top for what? Comments. No comments. Now, is that worth 5 points? Ooh. So he should right now say, what comments do you want? And I'm going to say, I want those header comments at least that say, you know, program name, your name, date, description, so that if I look at this code, I know whose it is. And I want to see that in there because, gosh, there's nothing more disheartening to me than having to take 5 points off your beautiful code because there's not comments in there, okay? So I'm just going to type, get them in there now, and if we have to wait for everybody to check things into TFS again, we will, because we want to see it, because it's beautiful. Okay, I interrupted you guys. Sorry, take back over.
I think that's all I have to say about the code for me.
All right. Did you run into any sort of specific problems?
I think just trying to start it because it seemed like it was a bigger problem than it actually was. So I think I was just trying to get it started instead of procrastinating it.
I really like the way that the you corrected the I value for the downward drive up.
Give them hands. Yeah. Get them another number too. Okay, for group 3, we have Tyler, Christopher, Braden, and Kendall.
Can we show both?
Sure.
Yeah, actually, get the request for control. Yeah, you can take the like that.
How do I request? Oh. Do whatever you want, man. Oh, wait. Wait.
Well, I'm presenting this to one person. So, so when I make it,
Hmm?
because I copied it, I guess 30 minutes ago. So it looks like I made it 30 minutes ago. The thing right above is actually check the number.
I can't see
Is
it.
that one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, sorry again. Thank you. Technical difficulties. Okay, we are ready.
All right, so this is my code. I put it all the triangles into a class, and so right here it's just creating a new object, and then calls the toString. So we switch over to the. All right, so each one of my triangles is a different method, and all it takes in is the size. So it's the same height and width. And then these are the 4, and so the first 2 are kind of simple. It's just putting however many it needs, however many stars it needs on each line, and then makes a new line. So it's just one long string with new lines and all those to make out the triangle. And then if you go to the second 2, I had to add in spaces to make it so, because I did it like the rebel triangles instead of the ones that were usually on canvas. And so it does all that. There's a lot of math. Then go down to the bottom. And then it takes each one of those, puts them into one string, and returns that for the override. And then if you just start it. And you can set the size of the triangles differently. I just did for 10 on these.
I want to show off mine too, because it's like really different. Shine.
Yeah, there's less control. So within my my main class program, I just made a couple of static methods for each triangle, in which each method I set like asterisks and scroll down. This one, this is pretty simple. This first one is just the regular left align, and then I just add an asterisk to the end of it for each iteration. Then I add like a little new line thing right there. Then it starts getting more complicated when I get down here, because I set it to 10 initially, and then loop through, and then I remove one asterisk with this remove method, which honestly is what I had the most trouble with, because it's really tedious. You cannot just say remove, like, because it takes in either one parameter or 2 parameters. When it takes in 2 parameters, it's asking for an index and an amount of like index characters to be removed. So I could say like at index 10, remove 12 characters from a string. But it's really weird. And the remove method doesn't work quite. I don't know. I think I got an idea how it works, but it's is different. I don't know. So what I did is what I kept running into is like I put 0, 1, like at index of 0, because a string is an array of characters, right? So at index 0, remove 1 character. But it kept saying that like the index had to be less than the size of the string or something like that. It's being weird. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just take the name of the string's length and then subtract 1 and make sure it's always less than the size of the string. So that's what I did there. And if you scroll down to these next ones, this time I'm adding a new string called spaces, and then I plus equals an asterisk, and then I remove a space. And then this one, I think, does, yeah, adding a space, removing an asterisk. And then if you want to go ahead and run it, you'll see. Does same thing, pretty much. I will say if you click X and then go back up to the top, the order in which the triangles like line up just depends on the order in which you call these methods. So that's it.
I really like the way that you had like the string for the blank space and then subtracted that as you're adding.
Yeah. That was when I actually finally started getting it. I think both you and you heard me like being really frustrated about 2 hours ago.
You got it.
Yeah. So that's all I'm gonna do.
I think we're good. I'm good.
Good. Do you want to show yours?
Okay. Very good. Group 4, we have Tomas, Dylan, Zachary, and Tyler.
Your request.
Yeah.
What's your group?
All right, so this is mine. I did mine pretty similar to Kindle's, where I just had, because I had trouble with the 2-string and making a whole nother class. So what I did was I just made methods in under the main method, and so I just pretty much display triangle 1 through 4, and then in my methods down here, this is triangle 1, which is the star, and then it's a new line, and then this one was after the first triangle, so there's spaces in between each triangle. And then on the triangles that are like inverted, that aren't, all the stars aren't left aligned, you have to have spaces. And so this is where I just looped the spaces each time. So that way, instead of like, it just subtracted the space each time.
What's the one above your display screen? So is your first for loop doing that? Oh, doing the spaces, I see.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
everybody notice that? Because that's just a little bit different of an approach, which is fine. It's a little different.
And then the second one and third one, or the second and fourth one, I switched around because it wasn't displaying right. I just switched the numbers around,
Mhm.
but it does the same thing. And then the fourth one has spaces as well, and it's pretty much the same thing, different shape.
You want me to run it?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I just have that.
Oh, no, it's just on the singular window. You'll have to adjust it for the full thing. I think you go to the overlays, change which one you're sharing. Sure. You. Oh.
Any others?
I have one.
Okay.
It's not as good, but it's one, I suppose.
If it works. I'm just getting hits it up. I want you to think about Dylan's with all of those methods, because this morning a lot of the code that we saw was just all in the main. And notice how he split it up into methods. Does that make it easier to understand or harder? Or?
Request control. Yes. So control plus. Control plus. So you can do control plus and see if that zooms it in a little bit. Control plus.
If you click on it first,
Yeah.
if you click, then it will do it. Sometimes not.
All right. So I didn't do a lot of the fancy stuff. I didn't get the adjustable triangles, and I didn't put it into a separate program and use the 2-string because I was having problems with that. So I decided just to hard program it all in with a standard for, and then do an if else for the increasing value and the decreasing value triangle, and just swap it. So essentially every first one and every fourth one will be an increasing value, and the second and third one will be a decreasing value. And then I'm gonna is that
It's such a good program for testing looping.
I think it's really cool how you did that too. That you had it set up where you had like the first one.
like most biggest problem 2-string. I couldn't figure it out. So
Any other questions? Give them hands. Yeah. Okay, group 5, we have Mohammed, Stuart, Alex, and Jackie.
Alex, you can get the controls, I guess. Sure. I got this.
okay.
Alrighty, I guess let's try and zoom in a little bit. Can we zoom in?
Use this.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so howdy everyone. Basically what we've got here is the same 4 triangles project we've seen a few times before. A little different here is this allows you to input the direction of where you want your triangle to face. So it could face either in the northeast, the northwest, southeast, or the southwest. And I'm talking about where the right angle of the triangle will be located. And is this a touch screen?
Not working.
Okay. Alex, you can hit the.
The dead one.
Or actually, I'm good here.
Okay.
Yeah, so as I said, you can type in whatever orientation you like, and it switches based on that. So for instance, on the triangles that are right aligned, it's basically just the print out the length of the triangle in the x coordinate. And in the y coordinate, you're printing out the length. That's the same as your height, but -1 each time or +1 each time. So basically, the right aligned triangle looks like the triangle. Now the left aligned triangles, they have a white space in between. So if you can scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
What we did there is we basically had 2 for loops, one for printing the white space, which is basically just a triangle of spaces, and then the normal triangle itself. So that's basically that. I guess we could run it and see what happens. Should be
Can I run
working.
it?
There you go. It's basically a normal triangle. I had a little bit of trouble here where there was a new line. There were 2 new lines here, so there's going to be like a huge space in between triangles, but I guess I debugged it and somehow fixed it. It was just a case of switching the for loops to be like an equal or less than it, and then equal to, or something like that. I don't know. I fixed it though, I guess. There you have it. I guess as far as problems go, I don't think any of us figured out the 2-string method. Something to work on, I guess.
Yeah.
But it did print out.
Can you kind of point out to everybody your update section and your for loops that have multiple
Yeah.
multiple
So,
variables there?
oh, you mean at the
Space and height.
left align triangles? Oh yeah, so basically our for loops, this is just the outer for loop. This will be printing the x and y, or at the x value. Or is that y? Up and down. And then it outputs, or it takes that, it puts it into the line length, which will be this class. Yeah, that's y. No, that's x. So confusing. Alex, if you click printline.cs.
Yeah.
This is my helper class that basically just prints the line based on the length you want. And for the white space line will be down a little bit. Yeah, so here's where it will be printing the white space and the regular triangle. I think that's it.
Questions? Very close to having the 2-string.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out.
So, like, I think that first person we saw did, and you could have, go back to your triangle class. Not the only way, but in your triangle class, is there a constructor?
There's not. It's basically just a switching based on the alignment of the triangle.
Creative.
So your return value variable is basically already loaded with all, and so you could just take your 2-string, just return your return
Okay.
value.
So
The return value variable looks like it already has something in it.
it is a string.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I could just, in this class, I could just put all of my return values into the 2-string. Yeah, because that's what I'm doing in the main. It kind of looks a little funky because I'm doing a console write line of the instance of this class.
Mhm.
I guess I ideally would want to maybe just console log the class and not, okay.
But it's very, very, very good.
Okay.
It's not the only way to do things. Any others? Okay, great job. Okay, we're gonna go back up then to group one. We have Trevor, Blake, Madison, and William.
Maybe I'll shake it off.
You got how do you do that remote control thing again?
I'm sorry, could someone explain to me how to do the remote control again?
Sure.
Okay. And then, okay, there we go. All right. So the way that I've done this is in my main, you can see that I'm creating 2 new objects. And that's because I have both an up triangle class and then a down triangle class. Each of these have 3 values. They have a height integer, a width integer, and a symbol where you can input a different symbol if you want it to be a different symbol. They've got the constructor that sets those different values there. And then each of these 2 triangle objects has a draw left, so it's like a left align triangle and a draw right for the up facing and down facing triangles. And then so over here, I'm just creating an instance of an up triangle and an instance of a down triangle with their values that I've input there, and then I'm calling the draw left for these in the different orders that it outputs the way it wants it in Canvas. And then, if you wouldn't mind running this intro, sorry. And that's how I've done that. Does anybody have any questions for that?
I like your using your height and width and your symbol and your class.
Anyone else show up with me?
Got it? It's great. Give them a hand. Yay. Today's video is 1:20, so we will go until 1:30. Can I give you enough time? Take your notes. 1:30. That gives us close to an hour for the quiz. There should be plenty of time. We had one person that was a little bit rushed this morning, but everybody else had plenty of time. So if you're a slow test taker, let me know, and I will. If you start having trouble, I will extend it. So don't stress. But everybody should have plenty of time to get done. I'm going to set my alarm for 1:30, and we'll get started then. So make sure your group notes are all up to date, that they're exactly what you want for this exam. We'll be ready.
way.